Okay, you might have an alcoholic parent, but that doesn't mean that you have to be emotionally entangled in their mess. In fact, you can actually be at total peace with the current circumstances and completely free yourself from being triggered by them or feeling like it's your responsibility to save them. If you landed here, I truly believe it's for a reason, and I need you to stay until the end because this is going to be one of the most powerful videos I've ever recorded on any topic ever. And it's not about how to change your alcoholic parent, but how to change yourself, how to stop being pulled into their chaos, how to reclaim your power, and how to feel emotionally free no matter what choices they continue to make. How do I know this? Because I grew up in an alcoholic household, and some of my earliest memories are of cleaning up the mess. I also actually ended up developing insomnia due to living in that type of environment because my nervous system got so trained to be on high alert, especially at night, which is when, shit tends to hit the fan when it comes to alcoholics. But today, I no longer get triggered by interacting with that parent, even though they haven't changed one bit. They haven't changed at all. In fact, it's probably only gotten worse. And I'm talking over 25 years of dealing with this. But regardless, I'm at peace and I'm no longer entangled. And that is the transformation that I want to guide you through in this video, which I've broken down into 5 shifts to free yourself from the effects of an alcoholic parent. So whether you're still dealing with this parent, or if you've cut ties, or maybe they're no longer even physically alive, everything I share in this video will help you find peace with your childhood and with your current circumstances today. I've never read a book on this topic. I've never gone to therapy. This is all based on my personal experience. I'm going to walk you through the exact shifts that helped me break free so that you can too. Starting with number 1, you are the leader, not the victim. I know that it's really easy to blame your parents for all of your problems, but not everyone is born into a nurturing household. In fact, a whole lot of people aren't. That doesn't make you broken. That makes you normal. At a certain point, I had to stop pitying myself for the trauma and the chaos that I experienced as a kid. And the way that I was able to do that was when I started to embrace that I am very different from everyone in my family. And that is on purpose. I don't want to end up like them. So that's not a life that's appealing to me. And because I didn't fall into the same patterns, that means that I am the one who is actually capable of healing this generational pattern of addiction, which to me isn't even about addiction at all. It's about healing the pattern of emotional suffering. I can't heal their suffering, but I can heal my suffering. And I can be the leader and being the example of what is possible when you face your pain and transmute it into your power instead of covering it up with substances. My perspective is also that you were born to them for a reason. You are their kid for a reason, and they are your parent for a reason. I think that it's because I saw and secondhand experienced the path that they took that I chose a different one. And I don't think that's an accident. Because of this experience that I had growing up, I've made completely different choices than my family. I've chosen healing, personal growth, expansion, choosing to live a life that I love, not being held back. Maybe you have too, or maybe this video right now is your starting point, which is amazing because you're exactly in the right place. You're likely here to break the generational pattern, and that makes you their example of what's possible. I see myself as an example of wholeness, not because life has been perfect, but the opposite, because it hasn't been. It's because I've learned how to embrace the pain of life without letting it control or define me. We live in a world of duality. Everyone goes through both good and bad life experiences. That is normal. And when you instead focus on yourself and kind of embrace this fact and find peace with the past and the present, you transmute that pain into your personal power. It's not an accident that you went through what you did. It happened because you're the one who is strong enough to lead the way and capable of breaking the pattern. Even if you don't feel strong, you are on a soul level. Your higher self, your soul, has chosen to be the one to break the pattern. And this is a good thing. So I want you to think of yourself as the leader, not the victim. And my personal journey is a perfect example of this. I mentioned how I used to struggle with insomnia due to growing up in an alcoholic household. And that experience actually led me to what I do now currently, which is one of my greatest callings, which is actually helping people fix their sleep problems naturally. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I hadn't suffered and overcome the problem. So I believe that any form of suffering is actually your evidence that you're meant to overcome that and perhaps help other people with it, or just step into a more powerful, confident version of yourself. If you also have trouble sleeping, make sure to check out my free masterclass in the description below after this video. Shift number 2 is that it's not your job to raise your parents. Sometimes people throw around the phrase that they had to grow up way too soon. And while that does make sense in a traditional way of looking at a life trajectory, I don't really look at it that way anymore. I think that now, as an adult, it's my time to be a kid. You can be a kid now, even if you didn't get to be a kid then. It is not too late. So while as a kid, you likely took on this role of being more of a parent to them than they were to you. And that's why now you get to just let all of that go. It's kind of like you did it in reverse. So what? You still have a whole awesome life to live. So go create that for yourself. And I completely understand the sentiment of like looking at the parent as a child that needs to be taken care of because they act like a child and it's natural to want to try to save them from self-destruction. But they aren't a child. They are a grown man or a grown woman. You're not their parent, and you don't have to be their parent. You came into this life to live your own life experience, to fill your own plans. Their chosen experience is one of alcoholism and all of the issues that go hand in hand with that. But they are adults, and that's their choice. You are here to live your own life, not manage theirs, especially if they are resistant to any help that you have tried to offer. Which brings me to the next shift. Shift 3 is to accept that they're on their own path. If they are resistant to your help, that is because you're not the one who is meant to change them. I know how exhausting and frustrating it is when you can see that clearly their choices are likely going to lead them to more pain and more suffering, and yet they are in complete denial and make zero effort to change course. The truth is, people don't change unless it's their own idea. And it's almost always pain that is the wake-up call, the rock bottom moment. And trust me, I know that from our perspective, it looks like rock bottom has already arrived multiple times. But if they were truly miserable, they would change. So clearly they are perfectly okay continuing down that path. And why should you be miserable if clearly they don't have a problem with what they're doing? It's really easy to judge people who choose a different lifestyle than you. And it's really easy to think that people should change to be more like yourself, whether that's, smoking, vaping, drinking, psychedelics, other drugs. While to you, maybe some of those things are completely incomprehensible as to why you would ever do that, to them, apparently it makes sense. They're getting something out of it. On a soul level, they are choosing this as their life experience in this moment in time. And because all of your efforts haven't really done anything to instigate any real change in their behavior, that's your proof that you are not the one who is meant to redirect them. Let that sink in. I believe in life that we all have what I call messengers. These are people who come into our lives, and for whatever reason, maybe we heard a concept 100 times before, but for whatever reason, the way that one person said it, it finally clicked and it activated something new within us. If they choose to change, it has to either come from within themselves, from a rock bottom moment, or be catalyzed by someone else who is not me, who is not you. because we've already tried that and it didn't work. So I'm not going to keep exhausting myself over it or feeling bad for them. They're choosing this path. And I don't know about you, but I hate when people try to tell me what to do. And your alcoholic parent is the same. No one ever likes being told what to do. So even if you said the perfect thing, they're not going to hear it until they're actually ready. Next is the part that a lot of people who I've worked with tend to get a bit stuck on, which is to detach your emotions from your family. There becomes a point where you've tried to help and they haven't accepted it. So at that point, it's on you if you want to keep draining your own energy into someone who clearly isn't in a place where they want to change. The way that this played out for me was that I just got really fed up with feeling sorry for them. It's like they've already had the life experience and plenty of signs that they aren't on a good long-term path. They've had warning after warning and they've ignored it. But they have all the evidence they need. So why should I stress myself out over it anymore? And there might even be a period where you can't be around them or talk to them. I went through a stage where I was just so resentful and pissed off that even hearing their voice would make my skin crawl and I would just get so triggered and hang up the phone. I couldn't deal with it. So if that's where you're at, that's okay. That is valid, and that stage is a part of the healing process. Many times you have to take a step back and literally separate yourself from them to untangle the years of emotions that have built up. And when you have space and you're able to give yourself time to just sit with and internalize all of these perspective shifts that we're talking about in this video, that is when you can find real peace with the situation. And once you've found peace with it all and are able to accept that, hey, this is what they're choosing to do, and me getting all upset about it isn't going to change anything, then that is when interacting with them starts to become a lot easier without getting triggered. Just because you share DNA doesn't mean you're tied to them or that you have to take care of them or give them the time of day. You're allowed to have boundaries. If you get triggered by having them at your house, then don't let them come over. If you don't like them drinking when you're together, set that boundary. I'm only comfortable getting together if no one is drinking. And if they can't respect that, then that's their problem. You have to listen to your own gut and follow through with your gut instinct instead of self-sacrificing. They've put you through enough emotional turmoil by all the alcoholic episodes that you've had to endure. So if they can't endure being sober around you, well, then that's just getting a taste of their own medicine. And I don't mean this to be cruel. This is tough love. Your feelings matter. Substance abuse can turn people into being very manipulative, and you don't have to fall for it. It's not good for you, and it's not good for them either. And once you've separated your emotions from the situation, there is one more shift that has brought me the deepest peace of all, which is to zoom out and trust the bigger picture. Because at some point, we have to stop trying to control the outcome and instead zoom out and trust that there's something greater at play. I didn't always feel this way. I used to think that this life was all there was, and that if somebody wasted it or threw it away, according to my own belief system, then it was game over. And that whole perspective was very depressing to me. But over time, through my own healing journey, I've basically just stopped taking life so seriously. I've come to see this life as temporary, but not all that there is either. And I've realized we don't have to get it right or be perfect. I now see life as kind of like a game that we're here to play, a place to just grow, learn, and to feel a range of experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly, the exhilarating, the painful, the magical. At the end of the day, wherever you are right now is exactly where you're meant to be, and wherever they are right now is exactly where they're meant to be. Things are always changing, and just because things are like this right now doesn't mean they always will be. But even if your parent never changes, on a soul level, they're still going to be okay, and you're going to be okay too. If this video spoke to you, it would mean so much to me if you let me know in the comments. I'm thinking about doing more videos about freeing yourself from the past and fully stepping into a life you love. So if that's something you're interested in, comment below and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. I also have a whole library of videos about healing the nervous system and overcoming insomnia naturally, which is a huge part of the healing journey after growing up in chaos. If that is something you struggle with, start right here.